Hello coffee friends. Today we are talking about coffee filters, how different types affect your cup of coffee and the pros and cons of each. So let's get brewing. Hello, my name is Stephen Holm and I'm with Homegrounds, a place for you to go to learn more about brewing and enjoying better quality coffee right at home. If you're new around here, be sure to subscribe because we put up videos just like this, teaching you how to make better quality coffee right at home. So like I said, today we're looking at coffee filters. Over here we have a cloth filter, unbleached paper, bleached paper, and a metal filter. I just want to say right away that not all coffee brewers can use different types of filters, and some have their own, so be sure to check with your brewer beforehand. I'm just using everything that works with the Hario V60 because it uses pretty much every different type. And today we're going to be looking at a few things with each filter. We're going to be looking at how much each filter filters, how each one affects the taste of your cup of coffee, ease of use and taking care of each, and then anything else that may seem important with each filter. So to start off, let's talk about the filtering amount of each filter. For the technical side of this, I'm gonna refer to a website called Coffee Ad Astra, which I will link in the description down below. But they actually did an in-depth analysis on different types of filters by using a microscope to look at the pore size of each filter. Therefore, you can kind of see the size of coffee particles that each of these allows to go through the filter and into your cup. And going from the most porous, so the largest pores, to the least amount, we have metal filters, cloth filters, bleached paper filters, and unbleached paper filters. Now I do want to say really quick that this is a generalization of types of filters. You have things like Chemex filters, and they have their own sort of ecosystem over there. And then you also have different manufacturers of metal filters that will have different size holes in their filters. But generally, these are going to be the results for how much your filter filters. Now, what does this actually mean and why does it matter? Like I said before, the amount that your filter filters will affect how many fine particles after grinding your coffee, as well as oils will end up in your cup of coffee. And this leads us to the filter's impact on the taste of your beverage. Because the more filtering that your filter does, the cleaner your cup of coffee will taste. Now you can kind of picture this by imagining really tiny coffee particles. The more your filter is able to filter those tiny particles out, the cleaner your cup is going to be, meaning you have less of those fines and therefore it's going to be sort of a lighter bodied or mouthfeel cup of coffee. Now this does not mean that a cleaner cup of coffee is necessarily better. It's actually totally up to your preferences. If you like a heavier bodied coffees, then you might like metal filters. If you like a really, really clean cup of coffee with little to no sediment, then you might want to lean more towards this way. Now, second, looking at the impact of taste on your cup of coffee, we want to look at the actual taste that these filters are contributing to your coffee, if any at that. And in order to do that, I'm going to have a little experiment set up. So let's do that. So here's our experiment. What I'm going to be doing is steeping each filter in hot water for 4 minutes and seeing how that water tastes. Now, even though this may be kind of cheating, I'm going to pre-wet every filter because you should be doing that anyway when you use paper filters in order to remove the papery taste, which sort of sounds like cheating, but we do that when we brew the coffee. Now I tried to be fair and pre-wet them all equally, using how much water I would usually use if I was brewing coffee with them. And let's do it. Should have mentioned before, but this water is 200 degrees Fahrenheit, so right about the temperature you should be brewing coffee with, and also not touching with your bare fingers. I also do want to point out while these are steeping that this cloth filter was boiled for 10 minutes after I opened up the packaging for it. That was the manufacturer's instructions, and you sort of are supposed to do that before ever even brewing coffee with it. So this has been steeped in boiling water for 10 minutes, but I've never brewed any coffee with it. All right, 4 minutes is up. Okay, so it's been a few minutes here. They are cool enough to where I don't think I'll burn my tongue. And right away, just looking at them, I don't see any differences visually, so that's a good sign. Start with the metal one. I'd like to hope that it's not an internal bias because I know what it is, but there is a slight metallic taste, which a lot of people don't like about metal coffee filters. It's not super noticeable, and it very well could just be something that I'm looking for. Maybe if I did this blinds, I would have different results. This cloth one definitely has the most flavor. I don't know if I would call it flavor. It has the most impact on the flavor of the water. It just kind of tastes, I don't know, clothy. It adds a little something that I don't particularly enjoy, that whether or not you notice it in coffee, it's probably there. The bleached paper filter probably tastes the cleanest. I don't notice any sort of papery taste in there. It just tastes like hot water. Last up, the unbleached paper filter. I taste a slight bit of papery taste coming from this one, which the bleached paper filters, they are bleached to remove any and all paper taste, so it kind of makes sense that this might still have a little bit, but it's not truly noticeable. I'd say it's about on the same level as the metallic taste in this. Neither of them are at the level of the cloth filter, which is very obvious to me. All right, now moving on from taste, let's talk about ease of use / care for each filter. I'll talk about the paper filters together because everything else besides the impact on taste is going to be the same with these. Now, as far as ease of use and taking care of them, they're probably the easiest. The hardest thing about them is that you have to go out and buy them. And once you are done using them, you simply discard the filter with the coffee grounds. It really couldn't be any easier. You just have to clean the actual brewer itself afterwards. Next, with the cloth filter, this you do have to go out and purchase, and it's going to be more expensive per filter especially, but even just one of these is going to be the same price as, say, a few boxes of paper filters. However, this is reusable. All you have to do beforehand is just boil it in water for, say, 10 minutes, and then it's ready to brew. However, these are very, very difficult to clean. As an example, here is the same filter that I have brewed coffee with about 5 times maybe, and you can already see the color difference. This one is wet, so it's a little bit darker than it should be, but I'll throw in a comparison between the one that hasn't been brewed with and the one that has been, and you can very obviously see the color getting darker as you continually use it. Now, you are supposed to deep clean these every couple months, but even after every brew, you sort of have to turn it out, rinse it, you gotta scrub it, make sure everything's out, and then you leave these to air dry. It's not the easiest process. I wouldn't say it's that difficult, but it is definitely more work than paper filters. Now, kind of same thing with the metal filters. You have to go out and buy these. Unfortunately, they are going to be the most expensive option. This one was about $20, which is a lot compared to these two. However, this one is much easier to clean than the cloth filter, in my opinion. You just rinse it underwater and it pretty much gets the whole thing clean. You might have to scrub a few holes. It's pretty easy to use and you can pretty much use it indefinitely. So what are my final thoughts and what would I recommend? Well, really it just comes up to your personal preferences and what you want out of a filter, as silly as that sounds. Do you like a cleaner cup of coffee? Then you probably want to lean towards the paper filters. If you really want to avoid that papery taste, then maybe the bleached paper filter is for you. But if you are looking to maybe limit the amount of waste that you are producing when brewing with your coffee, then maybe the cloth or the metal filter is for you. So I hope that all this information was helpful. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comments down below, or let me know how slow I speak and that you had to watch this video a lot faster in order to make it entertaining. And that is going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy brewing.